This is a big deal. The world financial system on the verge of total collapse, which we are all struggling with all over around the world. Disease on a global scale, such as AIDS and the H5 virus and many other deadly diseases threatening world pandemics. And about 46 wars globally occurring at this very moment, not just Iraq and Iran, Iraq and Afghanistan. There are other wars going on all over the world. And over 2 billion people living on less than $2 a day, with 25,000 children starving to death each and every day we live. And a human population expanding to the point of destroying all life on Earth simply by us existing. I could go on, but your heart knows of what I'm speaking about. The times we live within are precarious, to say the least, for our dear planet and for all life that lives upon her. According to the Maya, all of this chaos was predicted long ago, for we are approaching the end of a very long cycle of time. And when this cycle ends, this chaos always happens. It's part of the cycle of life. It is natural. But the Maya predict that this chaos we are now experiencing is just beginning, that something much greater than anything we are now experiencing is about to appear on Earth. And please understand, the prophecies that are about to be revealed are not just fantasies predicted by the Mayan calendar, for what I'm about to disclose from the Maya is backed up by hardcore modern science, as we will soon show. Once you understand the situation that we are all in, it's time we all listen to what is coming and prepare inwardly. It is not a time to continue to live as though everything is normal, for it is not. And normal, as we now know it, if the Maya are correct, is never going to return again in our lifetime ever. But what replaces the normal reality is far, far greater. So is it the end of modern civilization that so many people believe to be true from the study of the Mayan calendar, which predicts massive global earth changes in 2012? This is exactly what the head of the Mayan nation, Don Alejandro, wants you to understand. Yes, there probably will be earth changes according to the Maya, but there is something else far more important, extremely beautiful and positive, that no one is talking about and most of science is unaware of, and it is this other positive aspect that the Mayans and I want you to be aware of. If this end of this cycle is a human disaster or a blessing for all of humanity, it will depend on humankind, as it was explained to me by not only the Maya, but many other tribes. At a time like this one, where obviously a page in history is being turned and civilization is in crisis, everything depends upon how humanity assimilates all of its known experience, knowledge, and wisdom into a body of awareness that leads humanity into the future. If this future experience is sustainable, then we survive. If it isn't, then we go the way of the dinosaurs and become extinct. It's up to us. We have the power to change our future now. In fact, the here and now is the only place and time possible to make this change. We spoke about this higher consciousness that the Mayans spoke about, and there is a very important understanding, or secret really, to how the trigger that makes this work. And I could put this into a sentence, but the sentence isn't understood by most people when I say it, but I'm going to say it anyway, and then I'll come back and explain it more in just a moment. But the secret to how this leap in consciousness is acquired, it has to do with this, that human consciousness, combining the awareness of the ancient world with the awareness of the modern world, creates a new and more evolved human consciousness for both worlds. This is, simply put, we live in two worlds that are separate from each other, the ancient world and the modern world, and we live side by side. But at the same time, these two worlds need each other. They need to understand each other and to absorb each other's knowledge and their wisdom. Or neither of these two worlds will be able to move upwards into a higher consciousness. It requires cooperation. The ancient world is ready to move now. Most of the tribes of the entire world, they're completely in place. But the modern world has still not understood the need for its ancestors, which is the ancient world. Why are our ancestors important to our survival? And further, why is our survival important to our ancestors? In this modern world, most of us live in a synthetic reality. And by synthetic, I mean this: separate from nature in our houses and our cars, with technology shielding us from the outside world and the perils of nature. And because of our pride of technological achievements, we can't imagine why an indigenous person with his or her feet in the dirt and barely able to feed themselves could possibly have any kind of effect upon this modern world, except as an annoyance. So let me explain why the Mayan and other tribes are so important to humanity for our very existence. And if you allow this understanding to birth within yourself, then we will go on into the hidden world of the Mayan people, where they will begin to reveal their way of life and their wisdom. Looking into nature and the universe, we see that the human body and all known life forms, including planets and suns and all of their relationship of the outer reality, contain a mathematical series of numbers called the Fibonacci sequence. Our human body actually contains these numbers in billions of places, for every cell contains them, not to mention the vast majority of our body proportions do also. Now, to understand exactly why the ancient world is crucial for the modern world to combine with, to combine our knowledge, our wisdom, and everything together, I'm going to talk about sacred geometry. I'm going to use that to be able to explain to you why this is so. Well, the golden mean is a proportion. You can take any line, no matter how long it is, and cut it in a magical place, which makes the golden mean. One part of it will be 1, if you measured that, and the other part will be 1.6180339, which is a number that goes on for infinity. It never ends. And so it's a proportion. And you can see this proportion in not only in planets and stars and suns and moons, you can see it in your own body. If you take your hand, for example, and you look at your joints of your bones, if you divide this length into this length right here, the phi ratio appears, 1.6180339. If you then take that bone and divide into this bone, the phi ratio appears again, and this bone into this bone. You can do it through all of your hand. You can do it through your feet. If you take this hand here and measure that length by your arm bone, there's the golden mean. If you take this one by this one, the golden mean appears again. If you take your foot and divide it by this one, it keeps going. Throughout your body, you're going to find the golden mean in literally billions of places, because every single cell in your body has the golden mean in it. And so obviously, the golden mean is very important to creation. It's probably one of the most important proportions of all the other possibilities of mathematics that there are. But life, you and me, we don't know how to do this. We don't know how to make the golden mean. In fact, I don't believe the golden mean exists anywhere in the universe, anywhere. It's only this idea, this ideal proportion, but it doesn't actually